That faded look on your favorite jeans? A worker blasted sand onto them until his lungs turned to stone.
He's probably dead now. He was 22. And he's not the only one. This is the story the fashion industry never wanted you to hear. Right now, there are about 450 million pairs of jeans sold in America every single year. And one of the most popular styles? Distressed, faded, worn out. You see them everywhere. You probably own a pair. But have you ever wondered how a brand new pair of jeans comes out of the factory already looking old? It's a process called sandblasting. A worker stands in a small room, sometimes no bigger than a closet, holds a high-pressure gun and blasts tiny particles of silica sand directly onto the denim, over and over, pair after pair, for 12 to 14 hours a day. The sand rips into the fabric and strips away the color, but it also rips into something else, the worker's lungs. Those tiny silica particles, they don't just float around and disappear. They go straight into the lungs, deep inside. And once they're in, they never come out. The body tries to fight back. It wraps the particles in scar tissue, layer after layer, until the lungs start to harden. It's called silicosis. Your lungs slowly turn to stone. You can't breathe. You cough blood. You suffocate from the inside. And there is no cure. In Turkey, this became an epidemic. Young men from poor villages, some as young as 15, moved to cities like Istanbul looking for work. They found it in small denim workshops, tiny rooms, no windows, no masks, no ventilation, just a gun, a pile of sand, and stacks of jeans waiting to look fashionable. A doctor named Abdullah Çavuşoğlu started noticing something. Young men were showing up at hospitals unable to breathe. Not old men, not smokers, teenagers, men in their early 20s. Their lungs looked like they belonged to someone who had been breathing toxic air for 40 years, but they had only been working for 2, sometimes 3. Dr. Çavuşoğlu documented case after case. He found that workers were developing silicosis within 2 to 5 years of starting. At least 46 workers died in Turkey alone. Documented deaths. The real number is believed to be much higher, because most of these workers were migrants, undocumented, invisible. When they got sick, they didn't go to hospitals. They went home to their villages, and they died quietly, uncounted. So who was buying these jeans? You already know the names. Levi's, Gap, H&M, Zara, Gucci, Versace, the biggest fashion brands in the world. When the story broke, they all said the same thing. We didn't know. Levi's said they had already banned sandblasting back in 2003. H&M said they banned it in 2010. Sounds good on paper, but here's what actually happened. The workshops that were doing the sandblasting, they weren't owned by these brands. They were deep in the supply chain, third-party contractors, sometimes fourth or fifth party. So when a brand says, "We banned it," what they really mean is, "We told our suppliers to stop." But did they check? Did they audit? Did they follow up? In most cases, no. And so the work didn't stop. It just moved. After Turkey banned sandblasting in 2009, the workshops didn't disappear. They moved to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Egypt, China, countries with weaker regulations, less oversight, cheaper labor. Reports from the Clean Clothes campaign found that sandblasting continued in Bangladesh well after major brands claimed it was eliminated. Some factories switched to something called hand sanding. Workers use sandpaper instead of a gun. Sounds safer, but they're still inhaling silica dust, just slower. Same disease, same death, just takes a little longer. And here's what makes it worse. Safer alternatives already exist. Laser fading, enzyme washing, ozone treatment. They all create the exact same look, without killing anyone. But they cost more. And when the choice is between a worker's lungs and the few extra cents per pair, you already know what most brands choose. Right now, the average American owns 7 pairs of jeans. Look at your closet. Look at the faded parts, the worn out patches, the distressed areas. That's not a design. That's a process. And somewhere in that process, a worker paid a price that wasn't on the tag. He was probably young, probably poor, probably didn't know what silica does to lungs, and he probably isn't alive anymore. The fashion industry will never tell you this story, but now you know. And the next time you pick up a pair of faded jeans, you'll remember, the real cost was never the price. If this changed the way you see something you wear every day, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to keep learning what the world hides behind everyday products, subscribe. There's a lot more that Noah needs to explain.